On today's Locked On Bama, we're going to talk with Jimmy Stein, of course. We're going to talk about a couple of new names that I don't know that they're on Alabama's radar just yet, but they could be in-state guys that are very, very intriguing. Jimmy had a nice little write-up on each of them on his On3 site. Also going to talk about Alabama players in NFL camps. And we'll talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Bama, so stick with us.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just fine. It's football season. This morning on my tele coverage from Big 12 Media Days, I didn't even realize that was today. And wow, real life college football just this morning.
Yeah, it's great to see. And again, I think I'm going to be at Media Days next Tuesday, at least for the SEC. So I'm looking forward to that. We are still working through a few technical things with Jimmy's side on the phone. We will get that figured out. When you use a jitterbug to call into the podcast, it does make it difficult sometimes. Jimmy, one thing that you talked about. What now?
The Razor phone. It's one of the Razor phones.
One thing that you texted our group about was Alabama's got 74 players on NFL rosters right now. That's kind of ridiculous.
I thought, years ago, right when Alabama hired Nick Saban, I told friends and Crimson Country Club or somewhere, it was way back in 07. I mean, right after we hired Nick Saban. One day, if Nick Saban hangs around, 53 players on NFL rosters, that's an entire roster of Alabama players. It's going to happen one day. And of course, I was called an idiot. I was called, there's no way, that's impossible. And good, what are you smoking? And that sort of. And yeah, I was an idiot. Look at us now. I was wrong. It's not just 53, which is the monster. It's 74. Now, not all these guys will make teams this fall as players get cut. But hey, I was going through the list. There's not a whole lot definitely getting cut. Most of these guys have a really good opportunity to make the team, and some surprising names on there.
There really are. And Jimmy, here's something interesting today, this morning. Thank you for hitting the mute button. The good people at YouTube will see you make that silent cough, which we'll surely discuss them, but that's okay. Anywho, today I took my father to to Andrew's team and hospital, St. Vincent's, whatever. And when we were leaving, a dude got out of this very expensive truck, a huge dude, who was bringing his father, who was wearing all this New York Giants stuff. The guy was about my size, so about 6'5", but broader than me, stronger than me, better than me, smarter than me, everything than me. And I was trying to I didn't want to ask him who it was, but I assumed my first thought was maybe Dalvin Tomlinson, because I know he spent some time with the Giants. He's with the Vikings right now, though, isn't he? Or is it the other way around?
Dalvin is with the Minnesota Vikings today.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So anyway, but his dad was wearing some Giant stuff. So, I mean, he's got to be a football player. I mean, it just everything screamed football player, and I just don't know who it was, but it just made me think.
Anderson with the Giants.
Say that again, Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. I'll go back and look at my list this morning. I pulled up this great list. The list I'm using now that stays constantly updated is at ourlads.com, ourlads.com. You can search for and it gives you a great list. Real easy to read.
Okay.
Real easy to man. Went this morning to count them all up.
All right, Jimmy, let me go ahead and tell everybody about Rock Auto now. Look, Rock Auto is sponsor of this podcast. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto report store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure the often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Honda Odyssey an LX or an EX, and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand that warehouse happens to carry? Look, you can use your own computer. Go to rockauto.com. You can use your phone for that matter. Save time, save money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30 to 100% more for the same parts? That's crazy talk. Go to Rock Auto. It's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers like yourself for over 20 years. Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every single customer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in the How'd You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. Now, I want to tell you about the NFL Top 50. Which NFL stars moved the betting line the most? Starting July 18th, Locked On gives you the 50 most valuable players in the NFL from odds makers at Bet Online. Available July 18th on Locked On NFL. That's wherever you get your podcast. It's also on YouTube's, I guess several YouTubes. It's Locked On NFL. Go check them out. All right, Jimmy, two new names that have come up in recruiting, at least they've come up through you. I'm aware of them because
Right.
with the HSA radio network, and it's been fun to keep up with the in-state crop this year, specifically as an Alabama fan, because I've enjoyed how many Auburn's missed out on. But Vysen Llange is an offensive lineman that he may be a little underrated. And then there's another new kid from Hewitt-Trussville that you absolutely love. I want you to tell everybody about him.
Yeah, well, Vysen Llange is an offensive lineman from Pike Road. I have liked him. Matter of fact, this is just my opinion, not on threes or the expert Jimmy's opinion. I thought going into this cycle that Vysen Llange would be someone at offer and take. I mean, I watch him and I'm like, I'd take this guy. I like him about him is he can play tackle. I think a lot of schools are recruiting him as a tackle. Hard, real powerful in the run game. Listed at about 6'4", 6'5". Plays at a great program at Pike Road in Montgomery, full of great athletes. So it plays against good competition. Well, ends up Alabama didn't have a ton of interest in him. They're definitely recruiting him. In other words, there is a real him, and he's on the board, I guess is the best way to put it. But he's never been at the Alabama offensive line situation is changing a little bit. Might even lose Ole's thought maybe at one point to be a guy very likely to end up at Alabama. That may not be the case. Lulu from Massachusetts may not be going to Alabama again. These aren't like, oh man, it's not like Peter Woods type situation. But Alabama's offensive line, Joseph Hastings tells us this morning on 3 that should Alabama lose lineman Vysen Llange is a guy Alabama may circle back on and win nation prize. Well, let me tell you where he's officially visiting Texas. So how Texas is recruiting this cycle. Tennessee, who has an outside recruiting class per Tennessee standards lately that they're building, which doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it, Arkansas is a great place for offensive linemen right now. Line guy. They're a tough physical team. They run the ball. I think Arkansas offensive linemen and signs good ones. And those are 3 official visits. This is not a kid that's a reach for Alabama. If you can officially visit an Arkansas, you are a thing. And I'm all for Alabama taking a second from the jump. The other one, who is more of a new name to me.
Save the other one, Jimmy. Save the other one because we're going to use him for the next segment. I do want you to talk about it for sure. But I love the thumbs up there. Thank you. I need to go ahead and tell everybody about Built Bar. Built Bar, these are absolutely delicious. I've had a gazillion of them. Took them to Orange Beach with me last week and just gobbled them up. I should have eaten more because I also ate a lot of fried shrimp and stuff like that. If you can catch it, you can fry it. That's my motto when I'm down at Orange Beach. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given coconut brownie chunk the Puffs Treat Mint. That's right, the coconut brownie chunk Built flavor you love and a deliciously chewy marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. It's like a fluffy cloud of coconut brownie goodness. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15, get 15% off that order. Use promo code LOCK15 at Built.com to get 15% off your order. And I'll tell you something, some of our listeners that we really appreciate, they have been going to Built.com, putting in those orders, and then they send pictures via social media or text or whatever. And man, we appreciate that. They're letting us know that they're buying the products that we're selling, and we appreciate that. Also, want to tell you about the conference shows. Get more on the SEC by making Locked On SEC your second listen right after this one. Every day, host Chris Gordy and the local experts of Locked On take you across the SEC in 30 minutes. Make sure Locked On SEC is your second listen of the day. All right, Jimmy, go ahead and tell us about this new face that really I'm familiar with, but I don't know as much about this defensive back over at Hewitt-Trussville.
Yeah, to tell you the story. I knew the name just because I've seen the name. You know, I'm always looking sort of unfamiliar to me just because I hadn't studied him. And the reason I hadn't studied him is with Alabama. And let's make it clear, I still have not seen his name associated with Alabama. And because Alabama's already got 3 DBs committed, I think they would like 2. And there's guys like Cormani McClain out there that Alabama's in good shape with in the country. Alabama in good shape with Makari Vickers, an elite national sub. You know, Alabama's in good shape with him. So I'm not saying Alabama's losing DBs or body, but what I saw was a blurb that said on June 30th, Ricky Gibson from Hewitt, Georgia. And that catches my attention because I'm like, wait a minute. I thought that 30 in Alabama, right around that. What? Georgia? And then I went and looked at his recruiting. Has taken official visits to Tennessee and Arkansas. And I was just bragging on for visiting Tennessee and Arkansas. And I look at his page, and this dude is listening. We have him at 5'11 and a half, but I think it's fair to say he's a legit 6 foot. Trussville 7A program, and he's gonna unofficially visit. Tells me, hey, it's an unofficial visit late in the summer. This is a guy that Georgia wants to eyeball. They want to measure him. They might even, frankly, work him out. Let's keep that on the down low. But yeah, that happens sometimes. But who knows what Georgia's plans are for him? I'm just saying, I like Nations. We've all seen Georgia play. They have good players all over the place. This is not a guy, the University of Alabama. This is a guy they just obviously like, at least to an extent. So I made the mistake of actually blown away. I thought it was wow tape all the way around. Explosiveness. But the best thing he does, Luke, is just play the position. There's the corner. That means somebody really good at man-to-man. This guy's super sticky. He gets over. You can't shake him. He mirrors the receiver extremely. Master at coaching cornerbacks. He may watch the tape and see it differently than me, but I'm watching to watch it with Nick Saban going, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Because I would think Saban would, but is Alabama involved with him as of right now? No. Is Alabama short on? Looks like they're going to finish extremely well at the position. So in no way am I criticizing the DB board looks like. What I'm really doing is just complimenting this kid from Trussville. We see a lot of high school football too, Luke. People would be surprised if they don't watch a lot. There's a lot. There's not a few. There's a lot. And here's another one. And we're going to be playing against him.
All right, buddy, that's going to do it for today's episode. Next time, we promise we're going to have Jimmy hooked up to a laptop of some description instead of using his Razer Jitterbug phone. So, yeah, we will be doing that. And appreciate you guys sticking with us. We are trying our best to work through some of these tech difficulties, but just keep with us. I promise you, you will be excited that you did. Can't wait for the season to come around. That's when we'll have a lot of action for sure. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, roll tide.
Roll Tide.